Imagine a world where the sun never set on the British Empire. A world where the Union Jack flies over every continent, one global language unites millions, and one currency governs trade from New York to New Delhi. Wars over colonial independence never happen, rival superpowers never rise, and the political map of the world as we know it never forms. What would humanity's modern reality look like under a world dominated by a single empire that never faltered? The question is more than a thought experiment. It challenges everything we understand about freedom, progress, and the consequences of concentrated power. By the end of this exploration, you will see how a world ruled by an unbroken British Empire would differ radically from the world we live in. You will see how politics, culture, technology, and society might have evolved, and you will understand the hidden costs of global stability under a single authority. If you stay with this journey until the end, the final outcome will reveal a world both astonishing and unsettling. The key moment where history changes occurs in the late 18th century. In our timeline, the American colonies revolted, and Britain began a slow, painful decline. In this alternate timeline, Britain avoids that pivotal loss. Perhaps through better diplomacy, more careful handling of colonial grievances, and increased economic investment, the 13 colonies remain loyal. A combination of political concessions and military presence ensures that the revolutionary spirit is stifled before it gains momentum. The consequences of this single change ripple through centuries. A united Britain retains its economic strength, keeps access to North American resources, and maintains its global influence. The financial strain caused by the American Revolution never exists, meaning Britain can invest heavily in infrastructure, military modernization, and global trade. Without the humiliation of losing the colonies, the empire's prestige is unshakable. This strengthened position sets the stage for a global dominance that could persist for centuries. This alternate world also affects European politics. France, which historically benefited from British weakness after the loss of the colonies, finds itself constrained by a more formidable British power. The Napoleonic Wars unfold differently. Perhaps Napoleon never gains the momentum to challenge Britain effectively. Smaller European states remain cautious, knowing that Britain's reach extends far beyond the Atlantic. The point of departure is clear. One event in the late 1700s, the failure of the American Revolution, alters the course of global history forever. With the American colonies intact, Britain's industrial revolution accelerates beyond historical reality. The resources of North America, combined with its vast colonial empire in Africa, Asia, and the Caribbean, fuel unparalleled economic growth. Industrial cities expand at incredible speed. Railways, telegraphs, and factories dot the landscape of a global empire. Britain's navy dominates all oceans, ensuring that trade routes are secure and colonial unrest is swiftly addressed. World War I, as we know it, likely never occurs in this timeline, or it occurs under dramatically different circumstances. European powers are more cautious in challenging an empire that spans continents. Conflicts happen, but they are smaller, more localized, and quickly resolved. Britain's technological advancements, fueled by a unified empire, accelerate. Steamships, telegraphs, and early mechanized warfare give the empire an advantage that no other power can match. By the mid-20th century, the British Empire is at the peak of its power. London is not just a national capital, it is the global capital. Banking, diplomacy, and technology converge here. British institutions dictate international law, trade, and even cultural norms. The empire thrives economically, scientifically, and politically. Global communication networks, funded and maintained by the British state, connect colonies seamlessly, fostering a sense of unity unprecedented in human history. Yet, even in this golden age, underlying tensions begin to form. The scale of global governance requires careful oversight. Resistance movements and dissent exist in subtle forms, and the empire's success relies on its ability to manage both loyalty and control effectively. This period of prosperity is remarkable, but it foreshadows the delicate balancing act that will define the empire's future. If you are intrigued by this alternate world and want to see how the empire shapes the modern era, take a moment to like this video. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications because the story only becomes more surprising from here. The twists and consequences of an unbroken empire are unlike anything you have imagined, and staying with us will reveal the full picture. Even the greatest empire casts long shadows. As Britain's influence spreads across the globe, resistance takes many forms. In India, Africa, and the Pacific, national identity and cultural pride persist, challenging imperial dominance. Colonies are integrated into the empire through governance, education, and infrastructure, but freedom is carefully monitored. Surveillance, intelligence networks, and administrative oversight ensure that dissent remains manageable. Yet individual liberties are often subordinated to imperial priorities. Cultural assimilation becomes a strategic necessity. British education, law, and societal norms dominate colonial life. Traditional customs are preserved only if they support stability and cohesion. This creates a complex dynamic. The empire fosters progress and modernization while suppressing the very independence that historically inspired innovation. The tension between order and freedom defines this era. Citizens benefit from technological advancement, access to education, and economic opportunity, but they do so under the watchful eye of a global authority. Resistance continues in subtle ways: literature, art, and underground political movements. But large-scale revolutions are avoided through strategic governance. The empire's stability is remarkable, but it comes at the cost of personal autonomy and cultural diversity. By the early 21st century, the British Empire has endured for over 2 centuries without collapsing. The modern world under this empire is extraordinary. London functions as the center of global governance, finance, and culture. English has become the universal language, and British customs dominate international society. The empire's influence permeates every aspect of life: education, commerce, politics, and technology. Trade routes are unified under a single economic system, creating unprecedented wealth and connectivity. Scientific and technological innovation flourishes under centralized imperial support. Research institutions span continents, connected through global networks of collaboration. The empire invests heavily in energy, transportation, and communication systems, creating a world where technological progress is rapid and evenly distributed. Space exploration, medical research, and AI development advance under the oversight of a single, coordinated authority. Yet this order comes with compromises. National identities and cultural differences are less pronounced. Local traditions survive only when aligned with imperial priorities. The world is prosperous and stable, but freedom and individuality are limited. People live in a society defined by rules, expectations, and oversight that maintain order at the global scale. This raises an important question: is such stability worth the cost of personal and cultural freedom? The answer is uncertain, and it shapes the empire's ongoing narrative. Even an empire that seems eternal faces challenges. By the 21st century, new pressures emerge. Technological advancement allows for both surveillance and resistance. AI-assisted governance monitors compliance, but underground movements persist. Climate crises and population migrations challenge the empire's ability to maintain harmony. Social and cultural unrest bubbles beneath the surface, revealing that no authority, however vast, can fully control human ambition and desire for independence. Despite its strength, the empire must continually adapt. Laws, technologies, and cultural integration strategies are constantly refined to manage tensions. Even minor failures can spark localized crises. The empire's survival requires vigilance, innovation, and compromise, suggesting that its endurance is less a natural outcome and more a constant, calculated effort. These cracks also create an ethical dilemma. The benefits of order, prosperity, and technological progress are undeniable, but at the cost of freedom, identity, and self-determination. The world under an unbroken empire is impressive, yet it carries an inherent tension. The balance between control and liberty is fragile, and maintaining it is a perpetual struggle. The aftermath of a world where the British Empire never collapsed is staggering. Humanity experiences economic stability, accelerated technological progress, and a reduced likelihood of major wars. Trade is unified, cultural exchange is efficient, and global problems are addressed through coordinated efforts. Health, education, and infrastructure reach levels that surpass our historical reality. However, these advantages come with significant costs. Personal freedoms are limited, cultural diversity is subdued, and innovation often aligns with imperial priorities rather than individual creativity. Society is orderly and predictable, but at the expense of spontaneity, dissent, and local autonomy. The empire provides stability, but it also imposes constraints that shape human life in ways both visible and subtle. The world under an eternal British Empire is one of paradoxes. Remarkable achievements coexist with suppressed freedoms. Prosperity is guaranteed, yet individuality is constrained. The empire's endurance offers a vision of what humanity can accomplish under unity, but it also warns of the price exacted for such cohesion. The British Empire that never fell presents an alternate reality filled with wonder and caution. It demonstrates the potential of centralized authority to unify, stabilize, and advance civilization. London's influence shapes every corner of the globe. Technology, trade, and culture thrive under coordinated governance. But this world is not without its compromises. Personal liberties are limited, cultural diversity is diminished, and innovation is often guided by necessity rather than freedom. Perhaps the lesson is not about the collapse of empires, but about the consequences of their endurance. Human civilization benefits from structure, stability, and coordination, yet it also requires freedom, dissent, and diversity to flourish fully. A world ruled by an unbroken British Empire is a testament to both the potential and the limits of concentrated power. It is a vision of progress tempered by the cost of control, and it leaves us asking the fundamental question: could humanity truly thrive under an eternal empire, or does true progress demand a balance between order and freedom? If you enjoyed exploring this alternate history, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. The next alternate history we explore could completely rewrite your understanding of the past.